Black Lightning Season 1, Episode 3 is the hardest episode to review. Because, well, it's definitely the best episode so far. Because there's a lot more humour in this episode. There's a lot more humanity in the characters that are being portrayed. You get a lot more of a feel for who these characters are. The one downside to, I guess, the whole series as a whole is there has been very little of Jefferson Pierce being Black Lightning, and there's been a lot more of the whole family drama and dealing with Black Lightning. Now, there is a new character introduced, someone higher above than Tobias Whale, but I still think that Tobias Whale is going to be the big bad. I still want them to show what happened 9 years ago and the whole conflict between Tobias Whale and Black Lightning that sparked everything. I want to see that. I think we might have to wait a long time for that, but I still want to see it. Like I said, there's a lot more humour in this episode. We get a lot more of a back and forth between the Alfred character, or the guy who's trying to be Alfred, and Jefferson Pierce. We get a lot more of a back and forth there. We do get to see a little bit of a scene with the guy that's trying to be Alfred. I can't remember his name. But we do get a scene with him where he's looking at media files of Tobias Whale and he's deleting them, whatever that means going forward. We also get the big climax of this episode is, I guess, a little less climactic than the last two. So the first one had a big climax because it's bringing back Black Lightning, and then the second episode had kind of a big climax. This one, it was just him versus two guys, and then Reverend gets shot. Boyfriend character that I said I liked in the last episode, the bullet goes through the Reverend and hits his spine. So he's gonna become like an Oracle character, but that's kind of what the other character is, or he's going to be or he's just going to be a character in a wheelchair. Now, I did like the chemistry that the guy who plays Jefferson Pierce has with all of the other cast members, especially the police officer. The police officer is a very interesting character. I want to see more of him going forward. Just wait a second. Should be better. Okay, so I want to see more of that police officer character. I also want to see more of his kids. I know that's pretty much 50% of the show, but I want to see more of his older daughter learning to use her powers, which is just that's what I want to see. I don't like how when you search up Black Lightning on on Google, the news bit says, oh, blah 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 on playing a black lesbian character, because that doesn't matter. And they play it off like it doesn't matter in the show, and that's exactly what I like. The whole thing that I don't get, maybe it's trying to portray how the police work in the US, but there is a scene where the Reverend is like, if it ain't the police killing us, then it's ourselves killing us. And that's don't know why you always have to bring that into it. Because I don't understand why. I know it's a TV series and it needs to be more smart, needs to be more mature, but I don't know why it needs to put like political views and stuff that's happening in real life in there. Some people might like that. I'm not a bigger fan. Don't really like that. But it's basically, this episode is the payoff for the last episode. There is very little talk about what happened to Lala in the last episode. It's all about what happened to LaWanda. In the last episode, she got shot, found it, and now the pastor is planning a march against the 100. But when they go on the march, there are two shooters. They both get swept under the rug by Black Lightning. We do get this cool scene where he shields all of the protesters with like electricity, and I didn't know that he could do that. I didn't know the whole extent of his powers. So I'm glad that we're learning his powers. I'm glad that at the beginning of the episode we saw him, like, even though he's been 9 years into it, he's still learning to do stuff, because he didn't realise that the electricity or the lightning comes from each fingertip, so he can concentrate one fire to hit one person by just pointing at them like that, and then just hits one person. And he would do that if there's a large crowd of innocent people with one shooter in the middle. Be able to do that. What I thought it was going to be was more him on a roof sniping people than him jumping down and going to fight them at close combat. Because I always thought of Black Lightning as a ranged character. Never thought of him as like a close combat character. Even though that's what he's being portrayed as in this. Which I don't get, really. I have never read anything with Black Lightning in it. This is my first introduction to the Black Lightning character. And then we have Tobias Whale show up, and he's like, kill the alleged fat creep. She shoots the Reverend, when I guess she's supposed to shoot Black Lightning. She shoots the Reverend, the bullet goes through the Reverend and hits the boyfriend character that I said I liked in the last episode. And I guess, yeah, it works for me. What happens at the end, I like. There's a little bit more with the daughters, like the older daughter films a video of her using her powers. Then the younger daughter is, well, she gets the sex talk from her parents. She gets the sex talk. They play it off as a joke at first, and then they turn it into a more serious thing. which I guess is what would actually happen. Like, the initial talk would be awkward, and I guess the initial talk would be awkward, and then they would spin it off to, like, be more serious. They would get doctors involved and all that jazz. I wouldn't know. We then have a lot of the episode. This episode was a lot of talking heads, a lot of just talking, not really much progressing the plot forward. And I guess when you get to the third episode, that's what happens when you get to a third episode. But usually in the Netflix episodes, the Netflix series, the third episode is usually the hype moment. The third episode is what latches you on. I guess because this is a weekly, it's not all of the episodes being dropped at once. That's, I guess, the way that they're going to do it. They're not going to try and... It would make more sense if they do try and draw you in with more, like, effects and stuff. And I guess visually it looks great. Visually the show looks great. It's shot great. And all of the effects look great. I'd probably put it on Stranger Things level. The plot is not Stranger Things level yet. But Stranger Things also didn't take 3 episodes for you to get invested. It took about 10 minutes for you to get invested in all of the characters. But this, I guess I'm comparing it too much to Stranger Things, and I shouldn't do that because they're completely different. This is trying to be more of a superhero tale, but with a black character, so they have to cater it towards a audience that are going to enjoy that, and an audience that are going to go, yes, finally a black superhero being portrayed well, because Luke Cage was not portrayed well. This character is being portrayed well, and I've been enjoying the series so far. It hasn't blown me away yet. It's not blown me away yet. The last, like, 5 minutes were intriguing, and it's definitely emotional, because we have that sad music, and then we find out everything's fine, that everyone that got shot is still alive, if not severely, like, crippled now. But yeah, we are definitely getting more world building, but I just don't know if we're getting the world building in the right places. So that has been my review of Black Lightning Season 1, Episode 3. I have been Luke Warner. Peace.